Hello, welcome back to Far Horizons Gaming. My name is Ben, and today we're going to continue on with Rizia. So, last time out, a whole ton of stuff happened. Let's see, so we signed the agreement for our new MITS plan. We signed a couple of executive orders dealing with drug trafficking and some environmental issues over here in Monkeys, I think. As well as one dealing with some organized crime. And then we took a little loan from the Rizia Royal Gold Corporation just to help us out here. So it's like +2 budget, and we have to pay back 3 later on. But I'm hoping that'll be enough to help us get the the oil pipeline online, so it won't matter too much. Then we met with Lorenzo and Elena about our plans for the MITs. Then we had a really long chat on a boat with Vina and Manus about Vina going to Palais and possibly working with them on some governmental reforms. So, yeah, there's a whole ton of stuff, and it looks like we got at least a few reports and some newspaper articles, so let's just start over here in Cadiz. So, landowners complain about tenant protection laws. Major complaints have been issued by nobles on the Isle of Calacabiz, saying the new tenant protection laws hinder the economic development of the island and stifle innovation. Some landowners called for an exception to apply to the island and other prime tourist locations. Interesting, okay. And from Chile, crackdown hits business community. Authorities in Chile have begun seizing assets and raiding businesses linked to gang funding, targeting both the Skinner cartel and Nefandes Volturio. Some shops in the textile row and near the ceramics workshops were abruptly closed, leaving workers uncertain about their livelihoods. While officials report progress in cutting off criminal revenue streams, local traders warn that the disruption of commerce could have lasting effects on the city's fragile economy. Community leaders are calling for clearer guidance on which businesses are affected to avoid panic. Yeah, that's definitely a side effect that I didn't think about, but that's okay. A little late now. And from Arno, border checks tighten in Arno. Increased security measures at the Arno-Morella border have led to longer inspection times for incoming goods. Local merchants report delays, but officials maintain that the enhanced checks are necessary to curb smuggling. Residents remain divided. Some welcome the improved security, while others worry about the impact on cross-border trade. As cooperation between Rizia and Morella continues, the city braces for potential disruptions. Yeah, that's something I definitely foresaw coming, but that's okay. Hopefully, as we make more inroads with Morella, we can kind of fix some of those issues there. Well, yeah, and then we have 2 new newspaper articles, both of them from the Royal Herald. The first up, Princess Vina takes diplomatic assignment in Palais. As the months in the making Aureus gas deal nears completion, King Romus has sent none other than his own daughter, Vina Taurus, to help finalize the arrangement in Palais. Her Highness will help coordinate between the Rizian and Pelesian governments, as well as the energy concerns Rizian oil and gas and less power, to ensure that the sharing of the field and the pipeline construction process goes as smoothly as possible. With her intelligence, grace, and diplomatic training, the princess is perfect for the job, and the king's willingness to trust the Grand Duchy with his daughter bodes well for the future of Rizian-Pelesian relations. And Rufus Gragg's royal gossip, the Vixel to become an item? Disappointing news for all you readers who are hoping Princess Vina would bag herself a hometown sweetheart. The king is sending Her Highness to Palais and straight into the arms of the still single Axel Reinhardt. Officially, Vina is serving as a diplomatic liaison for the hotly anticipated Rizia Palais gas deal. But once that's over, is a different kind of liaison in the cards? If there's any woman who could finally get Duke Dashing to settle down and be our princess. Weird and a little creepy, but okay. Alright, let's see here. Guess let's head to Valenkiris for an assault on a Rizian citizen by Sortish tourists. Okay, that's a problem. The peaceful streets of Valankir have been shaken by a scandalous incident. A group of Sortish tourists has been accused of brutally assaulting a Rizian citizen. This event has sparked a heated debate across the nation. Public outcry demands justice, while diplomatic considerations urge a more measured response. The decision of how to handle these foreign tourists could strain Rizian-Sortish relations and set a precedent for future international incidents. That's kind of a tricky one there. But, I mean, sending them back doesn't sound like a bad idea. But at the same time, they committed the crime here. They should do the time here. You know, I think for right now, we'll send them back to Swordland. Let's eject them from the country. Anything further happens, then obviously we'd have to step it up. But I think for right now, just ejecting them from the country sounds like the best plan right now. Try to keep things a little bit more, I don't know, diplomatic, I guess. Alright, that brought up another report and 2 more newspaper articles. Alright, so from Republic of Swordland. Swordland starts trial against accused tourists. After Rizia complied with the Sword's request of extraditing its citizens, a trial is now commenced. While the tourists proclaim their innocence, several witnesses from Rizia are present to counter their claims. Alright, cool, good. I was hoping they'd stand trial. Perfect. Alright, then we got the 2 newspaper articles. So, one from Royal Herald and Geopolitica. First up, we got Swordish tourists to be returned to Swordland. The Crown has decided to return the Swordish tourists accused of assault and volunteer to Swordland, foregoing a trial in the kingdom. This decision highlights a focus on maintaining strong international relations and respecting foreign legal systems. While some have called for stricter measures, the move underscores the kingdom's dedication to diplomacy and international cooperation. This action demonstrates the Crown's intent to preserve and strengthen the amicable ties between the Kingdom of Rizia and the Republic of Swordland. And from Geopolitica, Rizia opts for diplomatic solution in volunteer incident. The Rizian government's decision to extradite the Swordish tourists accused of assault and volunteer to Swordland is a significant diplomatic gesture. This move, seemingly aimed at preserving international relations, underlines the complexity of managing justice in a global context. While it has drawn criticism from some quarters for potentially compromising internal justice, it also reflects a pragmatic approach to foreign policy. Cool, yeah, that's kind of what I was hoping for. Perfect. Alright, ew, boy, alright. So, back at Port Drazon, let's start with the reform movement grows. The reform movement, spearheaded by the Rizian People's Party, is beginning to gain momentum across the nation. Reformist organizations and RPP party membership are growing in size, with tens of thousands of citizens churning out in major cities to demand the right to elect their political leaders and participate in shaping Rizian policy. Rizian intelligence is closely monitoring these gatherings, reporting concerns that the movement is growing steadily and may continue to escalate. They report that the RPP's call for a new constitution is resonating with the public, and support for democratic reforms is gradually increasing. Well, I mean, I'm kind of hoping to work with them, so we'll take no immediate action on these guys. Okay. Then, radical elements organize. Radical elements in Rizia are becoming more organized and vocal, particularly several revolutionary groups who are now under strict surveillance by the Rizian intelligence, have been advocating for dismantling traditional power structures and shifting toward a socialist system. A leading workers' rights advocate, Adolfo Sotolato, who is also suspected of having ties to Volksen, has gained popularity among these groups and is increasingly assuming the role of a leader for the growing Rizian radicals. While these groups appear to be peaceful, intelligence warns if their influence grows further, their extreme rhetoric may gain traction among those dissatisfied with the crown. Alright, I guess just keep following the situation then. Alright. Let's see here. We got a situation overview. Like, average living standards? Yeah. Alright, I mean, that's not bad. It's not good. I guess that's why it's an orange thing. Hopefully we can find a little bit more money here. Whoops, to, try to boost some of that a little bit. Yeah, I mean, we're making plenty of money, but yeah, we're losing a lot of money at the same time, too, with like construction and whatnot. So, hopefully that'll turn around here really quickly, because we've got a lot of stuff we need to try to fix up here soon. But first off, I guess we're going back to Monkeys for the Royal Yacht Restoration. The monarchy's grand yacht, commissioned in 1901, now shows signs of wear and tear. While its restoration holds deep symbolic value, it also demands considerable time and resources. The alternative is to sell the antique piece. I mean, honestly, I'm just going to sell it. Thing's old and junky. If we really wanted a yacht, we can just probably buy a newer, better yacht. So I'll spend the authority. Get rid of that. I don't want to spend the money right now anyway. Ooh, alright. Looks like we're at the end of the churn here. So I'm going to take a look at the decrees, figure out what I want to do, and I will be right back. Okay, alright. So I went ahead and sold our last 2 energy just because, gave us an extra budget. Can't really do anything with it right now, but it'll come in handy later. So in the meantime, though, I figure let's go ahead and do the Monkeys Port Naval Shipyard expansion. That's one I've been wanting to do for a while now. We finally have the funds to do it. So this will help boost our military a little bit. Also building the port, expanding it, whatever. Should theoretically help open up our economic something capacities. There we go. Yeah, there we go. Doubling trade benefits. That's what I was trying to say. Especially since Queen Beatrice said she wanted us to expand this before she'd explore any further trade expansions with us. So we're going to go ahead and sign this one. Yes. Fantastic. Alright, and then, let's see here, where was it? Don't have the funds just yet, but I'm hoping we can do this one next churn. Let's build this new energy storage facility. It'll give us a bunch of extra energy, well, 1 extra energy, plus a big boost to our energy capacity, which will come in very handy once we get that new oil field online. So I'm hoping I can do that one next turn, and maybe some of these other like welfare things going here soon, like the expansion on the train system and whatnot. But let's see here. The one newspaper article here from the Royal Herald is Monkeys Port Expansion ordered. Today, the Treasury announced a significant sum has been allocated to expanding the Monkeys Harbor. 3 new docks are to be constructed, and an expansion of the shipyards is planned to boost local ship construction. The additional capacity for shipping is urgently needed and has been welcomed by an array of companies and foreign trading partners, as the current port is unable to keep up with the ever-growing Rizian industry's demands. A small military component has also been included in the plans, including limited coastal defenses to protect the expanding harbor, as well as conversion of the old obsolete docks into a mooring place for Rizian naval forces. Coolio. Fantastic. That leaves us with 1 budget and 1 authority that should carry over to the next churn here. So, let's move on. On Shores of Gold. Sounds potentially promising. Alright, oh geez, wow, we're at -3 budget per churn now. That's not good. Yeah, boy. Okay, we're going to figure out how to flip that here pretty soon. That's not good. Okay. Everything else is still pretty good, though. I like that. So I got to figure out the budget, because that's going to be problematic really quickly. Alright, anyway, let's see. We got 1 newspaper article. Let's read that first. Millions of Rizians head to the polls. Across the country, polling stations have opened as our fellow citizens head to the polls to fulfill their duty and confirm their support for King Romus Taurus by electing a new House of Delegates. We congratulate the Electoral Commission for organizing a smooth voting process. RNC leader Daria Darava has already cast her vote among large media attention at Port Chazon. Results are not expected until later tonight, but Royal Herald editors will work dutifully through the night to provide a comprehensive morning edition full of the latest results. Cool. We got a couple of reports over here. There we... Oops, that's not a report. Or is it? No, it's not. Okay. We just have the 1 report and 3 exclamation points, apparently. Alright. From the Grand Duchy of Palais. Palais Stream taps ready to be opened. Palais Stream, the oil and gas pipeline connecting Palais directly with Port Chazon, is finished construction. Heads of state from both Palais and Rizia are expected to meet later this week to officially open the taps. Okay, cool. That explains the -2 budget from the Palais trade. And then once we open the pipeline, that should boost our trade back up, hopefully. Alright, coolio. That's not as bad as I was thinking. Alright, well, I'm already right here, so let's go to Kairut for a global media campaign proposal. Interesting, okay. The kingdom faces a strategic opportunity to enhance its global standing through a significant media campaign centered in Constantium, Kairut, known for being a hub of diplomatic activity and international lobbying. This initiative aims to positively transform Rizia's international perception, leveraging its location amidst the world's embassies and influential lobbies. Okay. I don't know if I should spend the money, but I'm going to kind of do a small media campaign. If nothing else, that might help us a little bit in trying to get Zeal back from Valen. Alright. Let's do that. Ooh boy, a whole bunch of things there. Okay. Let's check out our overview. So, economy, we have new economic policy. Oh yeah, for the play stream. Situations. Let's see, something about timber. Yeah, timber scarcity raises costs. Alright, that's a problem, but that was one of the other economic things I was hoping we might be able to do at some point soon. And diplomacy, low trade volume. Oof, okay. That's also potentially problematic. Again, hopefully the gas thing will help us change some of this stuff. We'll be exporting a whole bunch of gas. Oh, we got a newspaper article here from Geopolitico. King Romus, the man who's changing Rizia. Much progress has been made under King Romus, a definitive step up from his father, Valero the Frail. While he's only been on the throne for a few years now, we at Geopolitico are certain the Golden Kingdom will continue to make strides forward under his watchful leadership. At the current rate, Rizia is on its way to become a true example for monarchies worldwide, and could even convince the hardest Republicans that living under King may not always be a bad thing. Coolio. Alright, so I guess let's head to Arnio here for a Millennialist worker strike. In Arnio, workers across all industries have laid down their tools in solidarity, demanding an improvement of working conditions for everyone, regardless of profession. Reports indicate that former Rizian Royal Gold employee Adarfo Sotolato, jeez, I can't say that name for some reason, is behind the effort, which has also impacted RG-run mines just outside the city. Okay, I guess I'll go and promise a workers' protection decree, because I'd like to do that at some point anyway. Let's just bop that. That'll be a new decree. Alright, let's see how much that costs. Workers' rights protection. We need -3 budget per turn, so I definitely can't do that because we're already at -3 budget. Alright, well, hopefully we'll be able to do it soon enough. Alright, and then from Arnio, strike leaders talk of union. Strike organized by Millennialist workers has brought the city to a standstill. Now, after authorities seemingly allowed the strike to proceed, its leaders are talking about establishing a proper trade union in the city, modeled after foreign examples. Alright, well, that might have been a bad idea. I didn't realize it was going to cost that much. But, oh well. Okay, and then from Port Drazon, public transportation on-time performance downgraded. Our public transportation system is facing a severe decline in on-time performance, with quality stagnating across rail, land, and sea services. Certain lines have ceased operation due to organizational challenges, causing inconvenience and dissatisfaction among the populace. And -1 budget. Fantastic. Well, it's not too late to catch up. Cool. Great. Alright. Well, that's something I was hoping to do soon, too. Is it under economy? I remember whether it was under welfare. I don't remember. It's in here somewhere. Oh, there I am. Investment public transport infrastructure. Yeah, I just need a little bit more budget. That's something I really wanted to do, though. We'll see what happens here. But we got a couple more policy updates here, so let's see. Economic situation, functioning transportation system, yeah. Then welfare situations, bad living standards, that's great, okay. Overcrowded public transportation, hopefully fixing trains will fix both of those. Order, sue Almina, destabilizing incitements. Okay, yeah, so we're going to have to try to deal with Sue Almina sometime soon. They're becoming a massive problem. Jeez, we got 3 more things again. Alright. The printing scandal? Okay, guess we're headed to Isa for that. Controversial printing house has released pamphlets critiquing the strict teachings of Das Nerdy, sparking outrage among the clergy. Protests are growing with demands to shut down the operation and confiscate the blasphemous materials. Well, honestly, we need the money, so let's just find him, see if that does anything. We can use the +1 budget. A newspaper article for that. The Royal Herald, order maintained through fair action. In response to the recent unrest, the Crown has issued a financial penalty against the printing house responsible for the inflammatory pamphlets. The official stated that while freedom of expression remains protected, deliberate provocation against sacred traditions must have consequences. The decision was welcomed by many as a balanced and lawful step towards restoring calm. Cool. Guess let's head next door to Nelvasar. Or a desecration of the sanctuary. Jeez, okay. A group of atheist radicals has vandalized Sacred Rusa Sanctuary, destroying relics and defiling its walls with anti-religious slogans. The clergy call for protection of religious sites and justice for those responsible, even as protests continue to grow. Let's just denounce the act and call for unity. Sounds like the best option at the moment. And then, I guess we're heading down to Montclar for a charity football match. Alright. That's more like it. More story beats here. My motorcycle pulled up to the VIP entrance of the Royal Grounds in Montclar, an unmarked blue door tucked discreetly around the corner from the main gates. Today's match was a friendly one, taking place outside the regular championship season. Its purpose was to raise awareness for polio vaccination. That's kind of cool. Still, it was between Real Montclar and FC Portrazon, the fiercest rivalry in Rizian football, so both spirits and tensions were high. Normally, Real Montclar would be the hands-down favorite to win, but FC Portrazon has been steadily improving since my investment in them. Only Titus was accompanying me today. Mother and Pablo were presiding over a luncheon for a lesser Hamburgian dignitary in Portrazon. Hugo declined to attend out of solidarity for his favorite team, Royal FC Valenkier. As for Vina, she departed for play a week ago. The Herald had published impressive-looking photos of her welcoming ceremony at Castle Reinhardt. We were welcomed at the entrance by the team's representatives and the head of stadium security. After a round of introductions, they ushered us through a series of back passages towards the Royal Tribune. Which team are you pulling for, Captain? Titus nearly stopped in his tracks.
FC Portrazon, of course, Your Majesty. I used to dream about playing for them before I found my calling in the boxing ring.
Our boys have got this. Loyalty, integrity, FCPD. Titus mouthed the slogan as I spoke it.
Nobody messes with the capital.
We emerged into the daylight as the Rizian national anthem blared from the stadium speakers, announcing the king's entrance. Once my eyes adjusted, I saw that the stands were packed top to bottom with thousands of football fans. All of them were on their feet applauding me. I waved to the crowd. The cheers grew louder. Most of the guests in the tribune were House Suzerain nobles, clad in Real Montclar's blue and yellow. I spotted the seat front and center, next to a frail, hunched-over man in a wheelchair. Her father, I'm assuming? It took me a moment to realize that this was her father, General Tadius. Yeah. Just as our eyes met, I was whisked away to my own seat, a few rows above them. The stadium attendant rushed to bring me refreshments. The facilities here were a little outdated, but the historic atmosphere couldn't be beat. As I took in the view, I noticed a red-haired figure weaving his way towards me. I'm assuming it's Rusty. Indeed.
Let's see now. Row 5, seat 2, 3. Here we are. Best seat in the house.
Rusty Montoro bowed hurriedly before lowering himself into the seat beside mine. I wouldn't have taken you for a football fan.
Are you kidding, Majesty? I love it. Down there, no one gets a leg up because what house they're born into or who their daddy is. Everyone has an equal chance to win big.
A bell rang to signal the start of ceremonies. Spotlight shone onto the center of the field, where one of Rizia's leading polio scientists made an introductory speech. Towards the end of it, she thanked the royal government for constructing the Roma Source Hospital. I rose from my seat to receive the crowd's applause. She concluded with a sincere expression of gratitude for the philanthropist who donated a record sum ahead of today's match, Marcelo Montoro, via his Heart of Gold Foundation. Rusty politely stood up as the stadium's clapping intensified. Well done, Mr. Montoro. Lives will be saved due to your generosity.
Not the life that mattered most to me. I had a little girl, Julia. She caught the summer plague back in the 30s. Didn't live to see her first birthday. She'd be just about Princess Vena's age now.
He wiped his eyes. I can't imagine your pain. If anything ever happened to Vena, I don't know what I'd do.
I've made a lot of enemies in my life, but losing a child, I wouldn't wish on any of them. You know who's really been making breakthroughs in researching this thing? The brainiacs at Harkard University, Arcasia.
Our conversation was interrupted by a short brass fanfare. At the top of the stands, a group of spectators unfurled a banner reading RNC 54, Tradition is our goal.
See, if Rizia pays as much attention to science as we did to this election hullabaloo.
Voting's integral to a healthy society, wouldn't you agree?
Oh, absolutely. Never meant to imply otherwise.
Over the stadium loudspeakers, the commentator began reciting some statistics about the past season. Kickoff was still 15 minutes away.
So, regarding RRG, you're not really thinking of giving in to those strikers, aren't you, are you?
I underestimated the strength of the workers' movement. These people are calling out for change, and if they don't get it, there'll be riots in the streets.
They want change, throw them a bone, not the whole chicken. The guy leading all this, Sotolato, he's not doing it for the workers, really. Rumor has it he's a plant trying to spread big ideas from you-know-where.
Workers' rights aren't a Millenniumist propaganda tactic, they're just common sense.
Mark my words, first you and his comrades come for Rizia's businesses, next it's your head. I had all kinds of ideas for how we could keep going with the cooperation. But unless you can assure me you won't give in to the Millenniumists, we might as well go back to talking about football.
Well, how about you tell me your idea first?
You know, I would, but I just can't remember them at this very moment.
Alright, well, I can't make any assurances, Rusty. I don't know what the future will hold.
My pa always told me you make your own future. Of course, his involved a bottle of port wine, a particularly haughty highway median.
What? Oh, he got drunk and drove into a... Yeah, okay.
As to the future of the Rizian royal government in RRG.
Our conversation was interrupted by a loud roar from the Tribune. Real Montecarlo players were jogging out onto the field. In front of me, Lucita sprang to her feet. The pitch on battlefield. I'll just leave her alone. I didn't say anything. The other Zarios in the Tribune completed the motto, our feet, our swords. As the team formed a line, Lucita animatedly paced back and forth, nearly knocking over Father's wheelchair as she did so. Nice.
Whew. Sure she's a duchess?
The football pitch is the one place where a noble may carry on like a commoner.
Ha! A great equalizer.
He swiveled in his seat to face me.
Now, where were we? Ah yes, the future of our corporation. There's an election coming up. Naturally, I assume the King of Rizia is gunning for a landslide victory for the Rizia National Coalition.
He smiled coyly.
Well, as a true patriot of Rizia myself, I'll do everything in my considerable power to lend the party a hand. A few greased palms, a few strategic advertisements, not to mention a few friends in high places.
He gestured vaguely in the direction of Antoine, his Arcasian bodyguard. What exactly is your connection to Arcasia and the ATO, Mr. Montoro? He shrugged cavalierly.
RRG has entrusted Arcasia with some of our most valuable patents. In exchange, the Akazians have taken upon themselves to assist with our personal security, tit for tat. I have to say, I like the way the Akazians think, and they know freedom means freedom for everyone, including honest businessmen like myself.
If Rizia were to be reformed, I have faith that the economy would flourish in the long run.
The long run won't help RNG right now. You're making it damn difficult for me to make a living off of gold. I've been thinking about diversifying my portfolio. In investment in Rizia oil and gas, for instance, I hear the industry is booming.
An intriguing suggestion. Perhaps infusion of private capital is exactly what ROG needs.
You look at Rizia's deal with Sordom. When it comes to energy, it pays to share the wealth.
And gold is still an important part of the Rizian economy. I wouldn't want you dividing your focus.
Gold will always be my first love. A little side action helps keep the spark alive. No.
And if we make this deal, you'll keep your nose out of the Rizian government's business?
Unquestionably.
The whistle blew, and the players from FC Port Rizia began entering the stadium. The applause for them was much more subdued than for their rivals. Somewhere behind me, Titus let out a loud whoop of encouragement.
What's time, Your Majesty? What do you say? Is it a deal?
Yeah, okay. I'm alright with that. Yes, if it'll keep relations between RRG and the Crown amicable, I'll grant you a small stake in Rizia Oil and Gas. He reached out and shook my hand with enthusiasm.
Real pleasure, Your Majesty. Hope you've been enjoying my loan, by the way. Remember, there's always more where that came from. Now, back to what we're here for.
On the pitch, the FC Port Rizia players had finished lining up. The game was about to begin. An announcement came over the loudspeakers. Today's special guest, King Romus Taurus, was invited to kick the game off. Okay, sure. I don't know how that works, but alright. Titus, get me onto the field. Rusty smiled approvingly as Titus helped me out from my seat.
You're okay, Your Majesty.
In the blink of an eye, my guard led me from the Royal Tribune down to ground level. I took my place right between the two teams, Real Montclar on my left, FC Port Rizia on my right. The players stared at me in open awe that the king was standing so close to them. The referee blew his whistle. Let's see, Port Rizia's on my right, we'll pass to the right. I pass the ball to the right. It was received by FC Port Rizia's forward. He ran with it, and gameplay began. Titus approached and swiftly escorted me off the field.
Very well done, Your Majesty. That must have been a dream come true for you.
Leave football to the footballers. My place is on the throne. I went back to my seat to watch the rest of the game. It ended in a 2-1 victory for Port Rizia. Nice. But the results didn't count. The proper season had yet to begin. I mean, yeah, it's just an exhibition match. Alright, coolio. I don't know if making a deal with Rusty was the best idea, but I don't know. It feels good at the moment. But that feels like it's as good of a place as any to go ahead and call for today. So, thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see y'all next time.